Yosemite National Park has been on my bucket list for years, so to finally arrive here felt like an absolute dream. Due to COVID, we had to make a reservation to get into the park. Also, many parts of the park were inaccessible due to the wildfires, so I would highly recommend checking the nps.gov website to get the latest info on accessibility and reservation scheduling before heading to any of the national parks. Our first stop is Glacier Point, which offers panoramic views of the Yosemite Valley and Half Dome. This 1,189 square mile park is roughly the size of the state of Rhode Island. Glaciers carved out this U-shaped valley which contains granite cliffs, waterfalls, clear streams, giant sequoia groves, lakes, mountains, and meadows. With no picnic tables in sight, we stopped to eat lunch out of our trunk. As nomads, we are definitely used to improvisation and eating on the go. We saw many deer that did not seem to be afraid of humans at all, and a total of 6 bears. In addition to this guy, the first bear we encountered, we also stumbled upon a mother and a cub on one of our hikes, and 3 other bears were seen darting across the street late at night in the Yosemite Valley. As you drive into the Yosemite Valley, the views of the granite cliffs are simply breathtaking. One of the hikes we took was to the Yosemite Lower Falls. In springtime and up until about July or August, you can expect the falls to look something like this. However, we were there in October and they were completely dry. This, of course, made it possible for the girls to climb around on all of the rocks, which is one of their favorite things to do. The next day, we drove to the Tuolumne Grove of giant sequoias to get our first glimpse of these massive trees. Here we've arrived at Tunnel Tree. The carved-out trunk of this tree allows you to walk through its base and get a real sense of just how enormous these trees really are. As we head down Tioga Pass, you can see and smell the forest fires in the distance. Much of the drive through Tioga Pass seems almost otherworldly, like you're on a different planet. Next, we make a stop at Tanaya Lake to take in the gorgeous views. On our way out of the park, we spot a coyote walking down the side of the road and catch a beautiful sunset. Back at the camper, the girls enjoyed playing with Play-Doh and kinetic sand.
Who loves the life in their camper? Cubby.
This is all being handcuffed with hair.
Good shot. Good shot. Good shot. Now go back. Go. Run back. Run back.
A drive through Fresno revealed yet another dark side to COVID. Multiple homeless camps speckled throughout the city. We saw the same thing in Denver as the homeless shelters were forced to close due to COVID, forcing many people out onto the streets. Back in Clovis, we head out on a Jeep excursion through the mountains up to Shaver Lake. Forest fires recently ravaged this area, and we drove right through the devastation. We make a stop at the Hungry Hut for milkshakes and burgers the size of our heads. And then we finally arrive at Shaver Lake. Next up, we visit Sequoia National Park. While we were excited to see this park, as we are all of the national parks, I think this one surprised us the most. I cannot put into words just how awestruck we were by the sheer magnitude of these giant sequoia trees. It was truly a marvel to see. We next stopped at Morro Rock, which is a large granite dome with a 350-step stairway carved into its side. If you dare make the ascent, you can expect spectacular mountain peak views at the top. I only made it up about halfway and was able to take in these views, while Josh and the girls braved the hike all the way to the top. An interesting fact about sequoia trees is that they cannot naturally reproduce without fire. So as sad as it is to see these forest fires burning, sequoia trees actually rely on these fires to reproduce. Fire is necessary for their cones to release its seeds onto the forest floor. It also helps clear the vegetation so the seeds can take root. Congress Trail, a paved half-mile, all-downhill hike, will take you to the great General Sherman. General Sherman is the largest known living single-stem tree on Earth. It is estimated to be around 2,300 to 2,700 years old. As you walk down the trail, exhibits explain the natural history of the giant sequoias. Just remember, the hike back will be all uphill. As we near the exit of the park, we come upon a field of cairns, which are man-made rock piles or stacks. The girls had fun contributing to this wonderland of towers. It was time to pack up and head on down the road. As I previously mentioned, we ended up leaving this location 10 days earlier than expected. But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise as we got to enjoy more time in San Francisco and Monterey, which both turned out to be amazing experiences. Tune in next week when we head to San Francisco and visit Muir Woods National Monument.